I'm recording.
I've been ready, bro.
This is how we supposed to start it, like just like this, where it's just like automatically like going, like what are you doing over there?
Yeah, man. I just had to take the merchandising off my water, bro.
Oh my God.
Yo, don't cut any of this.
I don't
let them know how dope we are.
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
None of this.
No, you never do. Never do. You know what I mean? Yo, this might be the one that I put on Spotify.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I think I already got the account set up and everything. Yeah.
Some fives.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Brother, we are back.
Brother, we are.
We are back.
Tell them who you are, bro. Tell them who you are.
Well, let's tell them what
your name is.
Let's tell them what we are. Let's start there. First of all,
we are the better word than BLERD, y'all.
First of all, I'd like to welcome everybody back. You could have been anywhere in the world, but you're right here with us, and we appreciate that. This is the Better Word Than BLERD podcast. This is episode 2. I am your host, Matt Lucas, with my co-host,
Issue X. What up, y'all? And G, Mrs. Crabtree, that first episode,
bruh. That was. Listen, I've done podcasts, and I've done them with other people. I've done them on their podcast. I've done podcasts before, and I got to be honest with you. The reception that we've gotten from this podcast is unlike anything I've ever seen before.
Yeah. Really, really, really dope. Shout out to all of the people, man. Really appreciate y'all. The good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent. Like, yo, dope.
Yeah,
dope,
we appreciate
dope.
you.
Yeah. So we got a lot to cover today.
Yeah,
I do want to talk about the feedback, though.
Yeah, I think that's a good place to start. Let's go ahead and start with the response that we've gotten to episode 1. But actually, before we do that, how are you doing? Listen, I'm a very task-oriented person, and when I was in the military, I used to like beeline it to my meetings, and I'd go through a building, and my homeboy would be like, "Hey, man, my homeboy A-Rod, Alvarado Rodriguez." He'd be like, "Yo, you gotta stop and say hello sometime." And I'm like, "Who got time for that, man? I got a meeting to get to, blah, blah, blah." He'd be like, "Nah, man."
Like everyone who's ever been in the military knows an Alvarado, be it a first name or a last name. They know someone named Alvarado.
Alvarado is a first name?
You said Alvarado Rodriguez.
Yeah, Alvarado Rodriguez was the last name.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's also a thing.
Yeah. It's a big thing. But he'd be like, "Yo, you got to stop and say hello sometimes, man. Let people know you care about them." So let's start with, how are you doing? How have you been?
I am, and I have been. So it was a really dope week. I had my first ever, y'all know I'm a nerd, and some people asked about this. I had my first ever a Comic-Con that I hosted under my company's brand, Comic Sense, Iconicon, last weekend. It was a resounding success. It was really dope. Trying to do some big things in my area, so that was really cool. And then I got we're gonna talk about it later. I got a really cool book this week. Got a chance to see a movie this week. Got a birthday coming up end of this month. So listen. How about yourself, man? How you feeling?
Man, well, first of all, your birthday is coming up?
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Well, you said
my birthday.
You said got a birthday coming up, and I'm like, oh, maybe like somebody who's close to you birthday, but you mean like my
birthday.
You have a birthday
milestone. Oh yeah. Yep.
Oh wow.
I'll be 50.
You'll be 50.
Yes.
You wear it really well.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, you really do. I wouldn't get 50 out of you.
Yeah.
I'm not cutting this,
Listen,
by the way.
I'm glad I got 50 out of me. I'm glad I got 50 out of me. Given where I've come from, absolutely. Milestone.
Did you
Let's
ever
hope I get there?
Did you ever feel like, yo, I don't even see myself making it to 50?
There was a point in time when I was very young. I did, but I got over that very quickly. I left and joined the military.
Okay. Even when I was in the military, I was kind of like, I don't think I'm gonna live to see 50. I think something's gonna happen to me. And now I don't feel.
Why the voice though? Why the voice? That's like is that the Morgan Freeman?
It's the monologue in my head. It's like, you're not going to make it to 50. I'm doing good. It's been a good week. Just like you said, we had a great reception to the podcast. Lots of feedback. I personally have been editing like crazy, and that's a thing. So spending a lot of time pumping out reels, clips, making sure the audio and everything was good. That was fun. First episode was a nightmare, but I think this one will be a lot easier to do. I also went to a concert with my daughter last night. We went to go see Baby Metal. Yeah. It was
Baby Metal.
Baby Metal. Have you never heard of Baby Metal? Baby Metal. Baby Metal is a Japanese trio, a female trio.
Is this J-pop?
No, this is I guess technically you can call it J-rock, but it's really just rock. You know what I mean? Like it's just they're Japanese. They play some really heavy metal. But I took my daughter to that. We went last night. It was pretty awesome.
Hence the t-shirt.
Yeah, I got the shirt to match. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Representing. It was a good time, man. I saw a coworker from when I worked in rescue over at Nellis, and said what up to her because she put me on. And I was like, hey, daughter, you need to thank her. Thank her, because if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't even know who Baby Metal is. And now we're gonna go to the concert again in LA. They're gonna do a special stadium concert. And so we're gonna go to this November 1st. So I got my tickets for it last night. Me and my daughter are gonna mob out to LA.
So you put your daughter on.
I put my daughter on.
Oh wow. It's usually reverse, right? That's dope.
This is true. Yeah, I put my daughter on, but I got put on by a lieutenant. You know, lieutenants be mad young. You know what I mean? I had to be a master sergeant at the time. And she was like
butter bar or
I think she was a butter bar, maybe a first lieutenant. I'm not sure. But she was still young, mad young, you know what I mean? And she put me on. We had to drive down to Tucson, and she was playing her playlist, and I was playing my playlist. We were sharing music back and forth. It was a whole thing. It was a vibe. But yeah, it was good seeing her. We're going to catch lunch sometime. And I don't have any pickups for the week at all. But I tell you,
I do.
There's a lot of stuff that's happened this week outside of what's happened with me that we got to talk about.
Wait. You went camping immediately after our first show, right? What? Come on.
You're absolutely right. I went camping with my son. We went up on.
Listen, y'all. Hold on. I don't want to cut my man off, but I'm cutting my man off. Listen, I was beholden to a very strict deadline because of this camping trip. Right? It was. Listen, we're gonna get up. We're gonna knock this show out. Our first show, which was actually really dope because me and my son are packing up and we out. We going camping, like real camping too, y'all. Real camping, like in the woods, real camping, not this, I'm bringing internet type video game, real camping. Anyway, I'm sorry, go on, bro. My man, yo, what were you gonna do with the food that I advised you? Yo, my man was on his way when I caught him. He was on his way to buy a bow. It
was technically a crossbow. I was gonna get a crossbow.
Talk him out of it.
Yeah,
I was like, bruh, generally there are classes for these things. Like, just most people who use crossbows have had someone taught them, trained them. They don't just stop at dicks and like, they don't stop at Cabela's. Let me just get a crossbow and just head out to the woods and make it work.
I promise you,
this is how accidents happen.
I promise you, I was gonna do my best Joffrey up on that mountain. Like it was finna get ugly. So I'm glad you talked me out of that.
Game of Thrones reference there, huh?
Yeah, big time. But yo, so I was just like, yo, it'll be fun. We can get a crossbow and shoot some trees or some shit. And then it never dawned upon me that, yo, well, if I miss the tree and this bolt flies somewhere, who knows where it's gonna go. So, but no, camping was awesome. However, a moment of vulnerability here. So we're up on the mountain. I got pictures of it. Me and my son had a great time. At some point in the middle of our trip, at the day, probably midday, probably like 4 or 5, I started to have a really overwhelming sense of, hey, I feel like something might be wrong. Something's off. And my heart rate started to increase. And I had this overwhelming sense of worry that something might happen to my son. And we went to bed. We went to bed early. We went to bed like 7, 8. What, we did our thing. We did, we made steaks over a campfire. We made s'mores. We did s'mores over a campfire. Yeah, we took a nap in a hammock type stuff. But it kind of almost rained on us. But it was like a light dusting of rain. It wasn't anything serious. But by the time the night came, I still had that overwhelming sense of something might happen. I'm like, yo, what if some
an ill omen,
like some racist rednecks are walking through the woods and they see these two black kids just kind of sitting here. I'm not a kid, but they see these two black kids. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, if they decide to fuck with us, and I got to pull the blicky out, and I'm like, yo, this could get ugly, and I'm just in my head the whole time, and I'm not somebody that deals with anxiety often, but this was like a legit anxiety attack. Anyway, Aiden went to sleep, and I tried to go to sleep too, and then somebody came up in the area and was just bumping music. I couldn't tell if it was out of their car or if it was out of their
and you were like, "Oh my God, my intuition, like it's true."
No, I didn't go there. Actually, I actually didn't associate the two. But I was just at that point, I'm annoyed. I'm like, man, look, I came here to the woods to relax and have a good time and just get away from the noise. And here we are. And I was just kind of annoyed at that point. And then I think Aiden woke up, and I was like, man, he heard the music too. And I'm like, dude, I got a good mind to fucking just go home. And he was like, let's go. And so we actually left. Packed up at night, packed up at like 8, 9 o'clock and got it back on the road. Oh, there was another thing. So I have a Tesla, and I drove my Tesla up the mountain. And when we got there,
you went camping to cook steak. Like this is all I'm thinking. Like you drove out to the woods to cook steak.
To eat steak and to eat s'mores.
And s'mores.
And lay in a hammock.
It's like, son, if we're going to eat this steak and these s'mores, we're going to do this right. We're going out to the Oregon Trail. And we're going to pitch a tent. We're going to build a fire. Tell mom we'll be back by 10.
Don't send nobody to look for it. But no, we got up on a mountain, and my battery was low on my car. It was like, I want to say like 25%. And it made me a little nervous. Now, I've come up on the mountain before, and as I got to the mountain, my battery dropped down. And as I drove down the mountain on the return, the battery came back. But I had this overwhelming fear that, hey, maybe that might not happen this time. And, what if we get stuck out here? And so there was that lingering in the back of my mind. It was just a bad.
It was like, why did Jordan Peele make all those movies? Like, yo.
So that was my camping trip with Aiden. I've done that camping trip with him, that same exact trip with him, except we didn't make steaks. He had a good time though. And he said, hey man, it counts as camping to me. I'm like, hey, if you like it, I love it. But I was very transparent. I was like, hey man, I don't know what was bothering me up there. But, I was really worried about you, like something might happen. I mean, it's not like he left my sight at any point, but I can't help but think that's probably just at some point, I guess my anxiety has to peak out a little bit, right?
How old is your son?
16. Yeah, 16. So that was the camping trip. But yeah, the podcast, man. So what do you think? First episode. What do you think about the reactions you've been getting so far?
Yeah, I think it's really, really, really dope. I'm excited. I'm enthusiastic. I think anytime people, like real talk, right? Anytime people give their time to critique or comment, be it positive or negative, I think is really dope. So yeah, if I can say something, if you can say something, if we can do something creatively, artistically that provokes a response, it's awesome. I was excited. Better than I expected. I'm excited for it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'll say the same thing. I've gotten a lot of really positive feedback about the first episode. Overwhelmingly positive, actually, because I feel like people felt like it was refreshing, right? They got sincerity. It was funny. They had intellect, to digest. I do feel like there's some things that we can spruce up and things that we can make better. But I do feel like that people like the direction that we're going in and want to see more. So we're here to give it to them. Lots of positive comments about the reels on Facebook and TikTok and Instagram.
And it's interesting, right? Because we've had an overwhelmingly positive response, and there's been some negative, which I'm around for. I'm around for all of the responses. At some point in time down the line, we're gonna open the lines up. We're gonna kick it. We'll even address people's comments if we feel like it's worthy. I feel like we could bring it on and we can address certain comments. Speaking of which, you got some feedback.
I did get some feedback, some feedback. I think the most overwhelming piece of feedback that I've gotten is about you. That's the biggest thing, I think that when we kind of like, well, no, it's actually not that. I mean, I think
I got that one.
I'm sure that's been out there, but overwhelmingly, I think people want to know a little bit more about you. I think they got to see a passionate side about me, about my interests in the things that I'm into. But I think people are very interested to know more about Mr. Incognito over here, you.
Yeah, I saw that, and I'm happy to tell I did watch it back, and I kind of exhaustively watched that episode 1 back to the point where I was a little bit blue in the face. You know what I mean? Like I'm a critic, so I'm listening, and when you gave me that feedback and I got to that part, you weren't the first person to tell me that. Several people said, yeah, Matt really goes in, and we really get an idea of what Matt marks out over, so to speak, to borrow a wrestling term, right? Like what he really marks out over, and you just kind of name drop 3 things and keep it moving. It's really bland. So I'm going to get into it. I'm going to give y'all a little bit of my background on nerddom. First of all, I'm Issue X, otherwise known as Ish. I own a comic book business called Comic Sense LLC. I have been collecting comic books for 40 plus years. As a matter of fact, this on my wall is the actual first comic I ever bought. Is that on the screen? Can you see that?
It is.
Matt, that is the first comic book that I ever bought. I bought this myself as a kid. This is the actual copy that I bought as a kid, 1986. So that is the first comic that I ever bought. I'm very big on comics. I grew up a big fan of Star Trek. Thanks to my mother, she introduced me to Captain Kirk, and then I followed suit with The Next Generation, love of Voyager, big Star Trek fan, very big Rod Serling fan, Twilight Zone fan. Rod Serling has been an inspiration of mine. Huge into He-Man and the Masters of the Universe as a child. Very, very big into He-Man, very important. I'm very sentimental, right? The things that influenced me as a kid are still important to me today because I grew up in the 80s. I grew up in the parent decade of pop culture, right? Like it's the mother, the father, the primogenitor of pop culture. So I grew up in that era, things like The Last Unicorn, animated movies like Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim. These things really influenced and impacted me. I grew up playing with G.I. Joe. I'm a big G.I. Joe guy. I'm a big He-Man guy. I'm a big Transformers guy. Kung Fu movies. Yeah.
Cats pajamas.
Cats, pajamas, Kung Fu movies. Yeah, so that's my obviously comic books were my door, so to speak, my doorway into, and the cartoons that I watched, and the toys that I played with. Big Dune fan when it comes to novels. Like I'm obsessed with all things Dune, obsessed with Anne Rice and her Vampire Chronicles. Like these things really, really impacted me. So yeah, that's me. I was that kid who, I didn't have a lot of friends growing up, so I spent most of my time in a book. When I say when I was very young, I'm talking like before 8th grade, right? I spent most of my time with my face and my nose planted in a book or in some world of imagination. So yeah, I didn't mention these things. Oh, love wrestling.
Okay, right? I wasn't gonna let you slide on that one.
My most memorable moments and important moments in life come sitting with my family watching pay-per-view events as a child as well. At WrestleMania 1 to we ordered all of these things, right? The reason why I didn't mention these things earlier is not because I was trying to withhold on that first episode. It's because it just didn't occur to me that these things apply. They have always been so normal, such a normal part of my life that it just didn't occur to me to oh yeah, there's this, there's that, there's this, there's that. When you have to put something in a certain perspective and say, this is what it is, when for you've been living it. it's just the norm. You know what I mean? It's just the norm that I love Dune, that I have every volume of Dune sitting on a bookshelf, or it's just the norm that I grew up loving He-Man for me. You know, you understand what I'm saying? Or that I read comic books. It's not something that to me is, oh, this is a part of nerddom or blurddom, or if you will, whatever you choose to call it. But anyway, yeah, that's what it is.
You grew up loving a no shirt wearing blonde headed super tan guy with a broadsword,
And in the little fur.
Oh, in the first speedo,
Fur speedo.
first speedo.
Yeah. Listen, remember I told you last episode that I demanded more from my cartoons, right? Like I was very critical. I loved it, but
Yo, He-Man was not good, bro.
He didn't throw a punch, right? Like he never threw a punch. No one ever got chopped with the sword. He just would pick people up and throw them. You know what I mean? He would literally just pick people up and throw them every episode. And that's how he won the fight.
I mean, it was Hanna-Barbera, right? You know what I mean? Like Hanna-Barbera. That was Hanna-Barbera.
It was like, DIC.
Was it?
It wasn't a Hanna-Barbera cartoon.
You're right. It wasn't Hanna-Barbera because Hanna-Barbera was like the humanoids or some shit like that. Yeah.
And all that was Hanna-Barbera.
I don't think Tom and Jerry was Hanna-Barbera, bro.
Yeah. Hanna-Barbera. Or might have been Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer. MG.
Yeah, that was. I think Tom and Jerry might have been
like Yogi Bear.
Yeah, exactly. Hong Kong Phooey.
Hong Kong Phooey. That was my dude.
I bet he was.
Super guy. Hong Kong Phooey. Faster than a human. That was my dude. Hong Kong Phooey was my dude. You're going to find a lot of people when they see this segment, they're going to be like, yo, Hong Kong Phooey was their dude too. If not, they're lying or they're young. They're young AF or they're lying.
Nah, I personally, I rock with a little Hong Kong Phooey. I'm not a big Hanna-Barbera guy, but I've seen a lot of it growing up. I think Flintstones is Hanna-Barbera too, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So more feedback that we got about episode 1, The Phantom Menace. Because I'm not a Star Trek guy, I'm a Star Wars guy, obviously. But I'm pretty sure everybody knows that now. But we had like a nice little conversation about this idea of what a blurred is and isn't, as far as whether or not the concept of it was divisive. That's more what the topic was. We didn't really talk about the definition of what a blurred is, or the definition of, these spin terms that people use today, like woke and wokeism, right? So let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, I think we have to definitely distinctualize or speak to exactly what it is we're going to talk about, right? Are we talking about what a blurred is?
I think we need to talk about both.
Woke is. I think both, but I don't think we should overlap them, right? I don't think they're one is the other, right?
Yeah, for sure. I think we should talk about one after the other.
All right. So what is a blurred to you?
I think a blurred, and very simply, is someone that is black that has a very strong, passionate interest of something, right? You can be a blurred. I mean, to me, that's what a nerd is. A nerd is just somebody who has an overly obscene amount of passion for a thing. You can be a book nerd. You can be a hip hop nerd. You can be an audio nerd. You can be a comic book nerd. You can be an anime nerd. I think they got a word for that, otaku or something like that. And I think that most nerds have multiple fandoms that they're a part of, if they're a part of fandoms, right? I'm a part of Star Wars fandom, Power Rangers fandom, that kind of stuff, right? I know people that are in the Ghostbusters fandom. But I think that blurred is just really a word that has been associated with people that are like that are black, right?
So here we go again. Here we are again in our continual quest to identify a better word than blurred. And obviously that's a theme that we'll be exploring every week, be it directly or indirectly, passively or actively. But so I got to agree with you. Like, I think you defined it well, and I really agree with you. I know that some people are going to take us to task. I've been taken to task, right? As to why the need to distinctualize blurred from nerd. We're not doing that, right? The name of this show is called A Better Word Than Blurred. In this segment, we just kind of want to nail down what a blurred is. Obviously, a blurred is. So if I'm a be ish, and I am, So I'm just going to say it how I would say it. A blerd is everything a nerd is. They're just black. That's what a blerd is.
It's a black
Whatever
nerd.
you define a nerd is what a blerd is.
Well, I think some
Just happens to
people's
be black.
I think some people still are trapped in the idea that a nerd is this uber intelligent person with an obscene amount of intelligence or intellect.
That is
Something
a definition.
that is a definition, but I don't think it is
Right.
the popular definition anymore. I think it
Right.
used to be the popular definition until it became, associated with, the slang term of it, which is more along the lines of it being somebody who's really passionate about something. So, but either I do believe that the black nerd blerd is that version of it, not the super intelligent person version, which they can be, right?
They can be.
They absolutely can be.
They can be.
I ain't one of them. I'm the passionate guy.
I mean, that's subjective for sure.
Sure,
You know
sure,
what I mean?
sure.
For
it is.
sure. You know what I mean? I think you project the opposite of what you just said. I mean, based upon some of the feedback that we've gotten, based upon some of the dynamic conversations that you and I have had on and offline, I would beg to differ without the begging part, but I definitely disagree. You know what I mean?
That's
So
a conversation we
there's that.
had. We had that conversation
Yeah.
because
We've had it.
for everyone who doesn't know, I do this show and I think that Ish bodies me all the time. I think pause.
And
I feel like Ish does a great job of giving his points, his counterpoints. He makes it really hard to argue. It's just that when he's wrong, that's when I'm able to point it out and get to him about anything. Pause. But I feel like he gets the upper hand most of the time. And oddly enough, you feel kind of differently, right?
Right. I feel how you feel in regards to you, though. So I think that's what makes it so dope, right? I think that the intellectual joust is certainly here, and I love it. I think that's the reason why we conceptualize this, because for me, I couldn't see doing this with anyone else. When we had that conversation, I was the first person. It's because, you know what I mean? I love where you are at intellectually. I love your ability to articulate yourself. Oftentimes, and this is rare, and I'll probably never say this again, oftentimes I think there's a little bit of honest and altruistic envy, not the type that wants to see, see something negative, but the type that wants to see something positive come from it. That's why I'm happy to sit alongside you and do this. Like, real talk. Like, that's one of the reasons why I'm happy. Listen, I want to be challenged. You know what I mean? Intellectually and, on every level when it comes to, and we're talking about comics and, nerd stuff. But listen, our space is different than any of these other spaces. And I know because I went and looked, right? I generally don't like to look when I'm doing something. I don't want to be influenced by what anyone else is doing, but I did go look. And the reason why is because I was taken to task this week by some of the things that I said in our feedback, right? And I'm not going to get into it because I don't think it's worth getting into, but I was certainly taken to task. So I went and I looked, and I'm like, I looked at a lot of local blerd groups, and yeah, this isn't Black exclusivity. Many of them are exclusively Black and want you to show how you are an ally if you join these groups. But the content isn't specifically Black.
100%.
Right? The content is the entire gamut of nerddom, right? The full shebang. Which brings me to something I want to speak about, because you already brought it up, right? When we were defining Blur, you talk about woke.
Yeah. Woke is another thing with it that seems to be a point of contention for people to define specifically.
Well, I'm passionate about this.
I mean,
I
think I share your passion. I think I share your passion.
Yeah, you do. I can kind of turn up when it comes to this argument. I can kind of cross into the realm of belligerence.
Yeah, I think you take it personal.
I take it personal.
Yeah, I think there's
I do. I take it personal. And so I want to be clear, because we're about to go into a segment here, and I just want to be clear for those who are listening. Like, we are about to, what I want to talk about is, and we talked about this before, we've got some shows in the can that y'all will never see. Maybe we'll drop some snippets of that content, but we have some shows in the can. It ain't the quality that we're doing now, but we definitely have some. Maybe we'll do some, some gag reels or what have you, down the line. Maybe we won't. But Matt and I have had this conversation before, and I'm going to refine it for this particular show. And I would like to talk about how woke applies to the culture being nerddom or blerdom, if you will, how woke applies positively and negatively. First of all, let's define it. And I'm going to go ahead and define it. I'm going to let Matt speak on it. Then we're going to get into it. I'm going to give you a soundbite, right? And the reason why I'm going to give you this soundbite, y'all can take it. Y'all can do what you will with it. It is what I felt. My stance has kind of changed, but it's what I felt. And then I'm going to go into it. At one point, I said, Matt disagreed. Some other people may disagree. At one point, I said, and I said it belligerently, provocatively, and in anger because I felt some type of way, that woke, in my opinion, when y'all say woke today, the opposite of that is white. And when I hear people say something is too woke, I immediately felt compelled to say, well, then the opposite is that's too white. And I was actually going to start saying that because I felt some type of way. We'll get to that. But first, let's define. And I may not feel that way now, but that is really how I felt. Matt is right when I say I took it personal. So, woke. You know what a contronym is?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so a contronym is a word that means a thing, but also means the opposite of that thing. An example would be sanction. When you sanction something, you approve it.
Bro, there's learning taking place right now.
When you sanction something, you also
allow it. Yeah, you allow it, but you can also disallow it. What is that called? That's a what?
It's called a contronym.
A contronym.
Right.
Bro, don't let them tell you we ain't educating y'all. Theory.
Listen. Theory is another contronym. A theory is a scientific fact, and it is also a hypothesis and a non-fact. So when you theorize something, it is either scientifically correct or it is something that I am just hypothesizing and hoping or trying to prove to be. It may work this way in theory, for instance, or if you will, but that doesn't mean it will actually work that way. And then there is the theory of relativity, which is actually a fact. Thus, the word theory is also a contronym. It means itself and also means the opposite of itself. Here we have this word woke, which in spirit has become a contronym. And the reason why it has become a contronym in spirit, not actually, but in spirit, it has become a contronym. When you say spirit, right, you generally can speak about the law and you can say this is the law and this is what the law says. But in order to go around the hard premises of law, you have what is called the spirit of law. What was actually intended by the law versus what is actually being enforced by it. The spirit of law may be different than its intention, right? And I'm sorry to go into this, right?
No.
Woke meant something to a lot of people, marginalized people, minorities, and for a long period of time, the word woke just meant we were aware of systemic things in place designed maybe not by intent, but by an inaction working against those minorities. There was not an equal playing field.
This
if
is
you
fact.
Look at coming out of civil rights, there just wasn't an equal playing field for people of color, for women, for people from any of these identity politic type communities, right? So being aware that these things were in play, acknowledging them meant you were woke, because if you did not, if in 1970 a black man or a brown man or a woman walked into a job and filled out an application expecting to get the same type of treatment in 1970 that someone who was white was going to get, they were fucking sleep. You are absolutely ignorant if you have no idea that you had to work harder, you had to be better, and you still might not even get what it is you were entitled to. This is what woke means today.
There was a lot of like, y'all need to wake up or y'all still sleeping. That those comments would get thrown around very, very often.
Don't expect me to be stupid, so to speak. Don't expect me to be ignorant to a process that may not by intention, but certainly in action.
No, I think that there was a level of willfulness in it too. There was an implied willfulness.
I just didn't want to go there. I just didn't want to go there. I wanted to keep it, very, you know what I'm saying?
Okay,
So
that's fair.
today in spirit, right? Because the word woke has been appropriated, right? It has been taken from the people who used it within their subculture and used in a pejorative manner, used to mean something very negative, used to mean almost the opposite or the worst extreme of what it originally meant, right? So I watched a conversation take place yesterday with mutual friends of ours.
Okay.
Shout out to them, by the way, with mutual friends of ours, actually good people. And they were talking about the Superman movie.
Yeah.
And they said, they really enjoyed the Superman movie.
And we're going to get into that.
And it wasn't, we're going to talk about the Superman movie too. And they said, it wasn't woke. Superman movie wasn't woke. It was really good and da da da. And someone came on, a person of color, and said, well, Superman movie was hella woke. And this sparked a debate where people accused this person of color of being afraid to be woke. And this person of color was like, yo, are y'all stupid? I am saying that this movie is woke, and I'm not afraid of being something that I am. This movie speaks to, being responsible to recognize, fight, and overcome oppressive situations and systems. And I think more things should exemplify this. I think more things that we consume should demonstrate that. I am absolutely woke. And it occurred to me that when, people were saying that this movie isn't woke, they were operating under a appropriated definition of the word woke, which is not the actual definition. And this person was speaking to the actual definition. Now, again, words don't exist in a dynamic, they exist in an organic space where the definitions, they don't change, they get additions, right? You get definition number 1, and then you get definition number 2, and then as we progress, maybe number 3 or number 4. You see what I'm saying? So in addition to its original meaning, there is this new meaning, this very shady meaning, this very negative meaning, this very pejorative meaning that says, well, in my opinion, and I'm going to tell you, this is why I said the opposite of woke to me is white. I have no problem with white people. People are going to think I do. I don't. But when people say it's not woke, they're generally, in my mind, which is why I take it personal, speaking to representing a person of color, representing a person of the LGBT community, representing a woman. So these are the things that, in my mind, what I'm seeing when people say, oh, it's woke. It's never woke when it's just a white guy doing all the things, kissing a woman, or, saving the day, or that's not woke. So to be the asshole that I am, I decided I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to test people's little feelings, right? Like, you can get online and you can tell me something is woke because it's got a black lead. Well, then, I said to Matt when he posted a poll, I said, hey, Matt, I can't really mess with WandaVision because it's a little too white for me.
Oh, that shit was hilarious.
It isn't. I love WandaVision, but how do you feel when I start jumping in your forums and I say, hey, that I didn't watch that. I'm not even going to watch it. I was never asking for that. It's too white for me.
I think they probably feel the same way people that are marginalized feel when, whether it's LGBTQ or if it's people of color, women, marginalized communities feel when people say this is too woke. When something is speaking in favor of or in support of or in, highlighting a dynamic that is, lending itself to the plight of those communities. That's what I feel.
I just want to remind people, and I'm sorry to have taken such a, just dominated this segment. I just want to remind people, listen, man, there are multiple definitions of the word woke. You do not have the right because you have redefined it. And we accept, I'm telling you that we accept the new definition, but that doesn't give you the right to dismiss someone who chooses to use the other definition. The new definition does not replace It is in addition to. It is another definition.
Yo,
it does not. Go on.
You just made me think about something. There was a point in contention over the word gender and what the meaning of gender was. And a lot of people, just made the assumption, or based on societal whatever, would say that gender meant your sex, your birth assigned sex. And the actual definition of gender was not that, right? And it's never been that, as far as I understand it. Is just how people understood it. And I feel like this, this argument over, no, this is what we're using it as and this is what it's going to be, it mirrors that same argument that happened with gender, like maybe 5 years back or so. Well, what do you think about that?
What about the word nigga? How many times have you been told what the word means so that it can be justified why you should or should not say it by someone that doesn't look like you?
I mean, if I'm being honest, never. No person has ever come to me and tried to tell me, no person that didn't look like me ever came to me and told me what it meant and why I shouldn't be using it.
Really?
I think.
Has anyone ever questioned its meaning to you?
No one's ever questioned the meaning to me. I think people question the usage, or whether it was appropriate to use or not. They've never questioned the meaning. Now, I've challenged their understanding of what the meaning is, but the only person that's ever really come to me and set me aside and said, "Hey, you probably shouldn't use the word nigga so much," is a brother. He was a master sergeant. I was probably like a staff or a tech at the time. No, I was staff at the time. And he was like, "Hey man, ain't you about to have a baby?" And I'm like, "Yeah." He was like, "Man, you want your kid running around saying nigga all the time?" And I'm like, "Nah, not really." You know what I mean? He was like, "Why you say it so much?" And I was like, "Damn, that's a good point. And why don't I want my son saying it that much?" You know what I mean? Like, and then that got me to thinking about it. And so it definitely didn't turn down how much I use it, but it made me very aware when I use it now. Very, very aware, very woke when I use it.
So that's an interesting thing, right? And this is what I've been in discussions. This is what I said. And a lot of people don't like this, right? And we're going to keep it real. When it comes to the dynamics of being Black, or I would even go so far as to say when it comes to the dynamics of being a minority, right? A person of color, right? I can't speak for what it means to be a brown person. Can't speak for what it means to be a woman, right? But I can certainly say that people of color, specifically Black people, I'm going to keep it to that, right? We have our own types of exchanges that exist within our culture and outside of the greater culture of what it means, the greater culture of the greater American culture, right? We have our own conversations that we will have with each other that we will never have in public forums. Sorry, we just do. We have our own way of doing things. It's the head nod that it's the head nod culture.
I was at the Baby Metal concert last night, right?
Yeah.
It's Baby Metal, so it's a Japanese group. It's not a lot of Black people at this concert. And I was explaining to my daughters, like, yo, it's not a lot of us here, but when you see one of us, I bet you see us do this. You know what I mean? Like the acknowledgement of like, I'm here too, right? And that's everywhere I go. You know what I mean? I work in aviation.
The world.
100%. I mean, I think it's because it's an acknowledgement of being in a place where you probably were not. And I think the expectation probably comes from our understanding of what the expectation is. It's probably not the actual expectation that people have. People probably don't actually have any kind of expectation, right? I think most people, right? Like, I don't think white people be surprised that it's Black people working in aviation. You know what I mean? I think Black people be like, so I think we be looking at each other like, yo, bro, you here too? Okay, all right. Right on, brother. You know what I'm saying? And that speaks to our own insecurities, right? And our own understanding of what people perceive us as, but not how we actually perceive ourselves, right? So I think that's what the head nod is about, like the acknowledgement of.
But we're gonna coin that term. We're gonna call it head nod culture, because within head nod culture, you and I have conversations, right? So for instance, I'll give you an example, right? And I'm about to do this right here live on for the world to see. So J Rob and I were having a conversation with Sam one day on the phone.
J-Rob is a mutual friend of ours, and Sam is another mutual friend. Yeah,
you'll see us all. We are frequent guests on other podcasts, so check those out. Shout out to the Comic Menu podcast.
Shout out to the Comic Menu podcast.
We are both frequent guests on those podcasts. So J-Rob, right? We were having a conversation, and Sam was in the conversation, and I said to J-Rob, I was thanking him for something. And I was going out of my way to thank him for it. I wanted to make sure to thank him and show my appreciation for his support and for what he had done. And I wanted to make sure there was something he was going to do for me. And I wanted to make sure I paid him and paid him well for it. And he was like, yo, bro, you don't have to. And I said to him, Jay, what I'm not going to do is I'm not going to be one of those examples of our culture that don't take it. And then I made a disclaimer for Sam. Because right now I'm having a conversation with J-Rob. Sam is not black, and he wasn't going to understand what I was saying. So I said, hold on, Sam, I'm inviting you in. And J-Rob said the same thing. We're actually pulling the veil back and letting you in on conversations that black people have that we don't necessarily have with other cultures. And I was talking about how in our communities, right, if you start a business, I'm going to come into your business looking to pay less for a thing than I would if I was to go to the Italian guy down the street's business, right?
Yeah.
I would, or if I was to go to the, like, you know what I mean? And this is a thing, a kind of a negative thing that we know to be true about our culture. It's not something we just openly have conversations with people outside of the culture, but within our culture, head nod culture, we are very well aware. So it was important for me to let Jay know, as someone who supported me, and I was really appreciative of the support he has given me, that I am going to give you the equal, if not greater, rather than what we are used to getting from some, not all, but from some areas of our culture. So when I mention head nod culture and I mention the word nigga, right? The reason why, just to bring this full circle, is that conversation that you and your master sergeant had is a conversation that we can have within our culture, right? There are arguments within our culture over whether the word should be used, what it means, how it makes us look, its proliferation, its usage. There are certainly debates and arguments within our culture, and we can have these conversations, right? But when someone outside of the culture decides to tell you this is the definition of that word, in spite of how you have chosen to define it, going back to woke and the contronym, right? And again, that's why I didn't eliminate the new definition of woke. I said it is an addition, right? In spite of how you have chosen to define it, an appropriated word, right? We've chosen to define it this way. It's a debate within our culture, but you can't redefine it for the purpose of your argument, right? You can't come to me and say, well, it doesn't mean this. Because if it does, the reason why you give it a definition is so you can justify, well, I can't use it, you shouldn't be able to either, because it means this really negative thing.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you it doesn't, and you're telling me, no, it does. It does. and so you want to, I'm not telling you not to use woke, right? At no point did you hear me say that people shouldn't use woke or its new definition. You've added a definition. It seems to be the prevalent thing. Okay. But you can't tell me that the old definition. Anyway, I'm sorry, go on.
No, you're cooking.
I'm doing too much. I'm starting, the pot's starting to overflow.
You're good. The coffee kicking in. I'm gonna tell you, this podcast is only worth its while if we're talking about things we feel strongly about and things that we are excited about, things that we, points of view that we feel people are aware of or not aware of, that we want to bring to light and make sure that most people are aware of them. So shout out to you. I feel like that was, a very good discussion and fair points made out. It was, but I let you cook. You know what I mean? And I don't have it. The reason why it's not a discussion is because there's not a lot of room for me to disagree with you. right? I feel strongly about everything you said. I feel the same way about everything you said. I don't think that I'm as passionate about it because I'm just not that invested in other people anymore, right?
Mm.
I think there's a level of acceptance that I've had in people now that I just I don't assume that people should operate by the same metrics or the same ideals or the same morals that I do, and so I don't press that upon people.
Hmm.
I do take opportunities to try to share my perspective to see, but 90% of the time, people don't listen and are not receptive to it at all. While I'm on the opposite side, I'm actually like trying to understand other people, and I think that's what human society is strongly based on, is this idea of trying to understand one another, and that's how we grow and become stronger. But I think now people rather be in their echo chambers, and you know, some people are just like, you know, ignorant to facts and not, you know, open to, you know, healthy debate and discussion. I do have a select few of people who I can have conversations just like that with that do not look like me, but it's far and few between. Um, and you know, a lot of it is based on perspective and where you come from, and you know, it doesn't always equal a level of bigotry. I think oftentimes is just a level of misunderstanding between the two. But like for the example that you use for the guys with the Superman woke comments, uh, those guys aren't enemies, right?
Nope.
They're not two people that hate each other. They're just two people or three people that misunderstood each other. You know, I made you know, I've shared a lot of our reels, and you know, we talked about the divisiveness of being a blerd, and you know, we've had people make comments about that, and there's healthy discussions being had, and I think that above all else, that is the most important thing, is that there are such healthy discussions being had and perspectives being shared, right? And I think that that's really what this is all about, right? We live in what I like to call the misinformation age, where a lot of people are sharing a form of information with a sort of agenda behind it, and they want to change the perspective of others, or they want to force their perspective on other people, which is the opposite of what the information age is to offer all of this information and then make it available for other people to digest and then make a choice on what it is they align with or don't align with. So that's my
It's interesting that you put it that way because when I look at the information age, which is why I think it's apropos, I think it is very aptly put, the information age. And the reason why is because I think, to speak, not to take away, to add to what you're saying, right? We live in an age where a lot of you have information, you have misinformation, and you have disinformation, right? And I think that these things are all being proliferated, if not equally, certainly enough, right? And what I mean by that is, and you saw this coming out of COVID, right? There was information specifically on the vaccine, and then there was misinformation, right? But then there was information that was meant to disinform, right? To remove or to to specifically impede the information, hinder the information, or your ability to cognitively um consume the info, or excuse me, digest the information you've already consumed, right? It was meant to remove that knowledge from you, that awareness or that understanding, to take it away, which, you know, there are agents for that, but I don't want to get into that. I do want to speak to what you were saying. I agree with you 100%. And I'm the same way, and I feel the same way. Um, I do think that the goal is to understand. I definitely don't want to impose my morals. I hate the term morals. I'm not a fan, right? At all,
you hate the
when it
term
comes to
morals, or you hate the term
yeah,
immorals?
just the concept of morals, right? Because you find this in election years specifically, or particularly, you find people basing their comments and their political commentary on their idea of what is morally true, or morally correct, or morally right. You understand what I'm saying? And that
Yeah.
always changes. It always changes from person to person to person to person, you know, which why you get these terms moral high ground. And I used to say people be on a moral high ground like a sniper. Like they, like they're in a sniper spot, just ready to shoot you from their moral high ground. You know what I mean? But I understand what you're saying, right? I do think the goal should be to brook discussion for the purpose of understanding each other.
Yeah.
I'm provocative, right? So for me,
like to keep the people going.
Yo, if you say to me it's too woke, right? I'm gonna say it, well, that's too white. Not because I'm some sort of bigot or I want to be racist. It's because I'm trying to show you, yo, this is a way for me to show you or to give you some understanding of how you saying something is too woke may impact certain people.
Yeah, but I think that the problem there is that you're speaking to how someone is receiving something versus how you're sending something, right? And that's the trick, right? That they use, the YT people, right? They will say, well, I'm not saying it's black, or I'm not saying it's racist, or I'm not saying it's gay, or I'm not saying it's lesbian. I'm not saying that. You're saying it's white, and I'm not making it about race. You're pulling up the race card, and that's the trick, right? This whole they real Mephisto.
I understand the trick.
Real Mephisto with it, right?
Right, yeah.
And so there's a lot of microaggression and subtlety in their bigotry and in the way that they speak and say things. Now, obviously, we're not talking about all white people across the board, right?
And I don't even necessarily think it's bigotry across the board.
Okay,
at all.
Fair. But I do think that, you know what I mean? Like, by using white, you're forcing the conversation to happen. And you know what I mean?
No. I'm forcing you to feel and think a certain way.
But you're also going to, it also drives it to that conversation of why you got to make it about race. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because I think that the understanding is that by them saying woke, they're not making it about race. They're making it about an agenda, which is an agenda about race.
but it predicates, right? It's predicated upon ignorance. Like your argument, not your argument, the woke argument is predicated upon ignorance. I have to pretend to be ignorant, that this is not what you mean. I have to pretend. I have to play your game.
Right.
I have to subscribe to your trick.
Yeah.
Like I have to actually subscribe to it and then validate it.
Boy, you cooking
and co-sign it.
You cooking.
So I don't want to get into a forum and argue with you your point. I'm gonna just show you the contrast. Well, here's what it looks like. So if it's fair to say all of these things and say, well, why do you make it about color? Then it's fair for me to say, why not? Because in the 21st century, right, it seems to be okay to politically, right, do all of the things that we couldn't do in the latter half of the 20th century. It seems to now people have carte blanche to say, think about it. And I'm going to say it again. In pre-civil rights, certain people didn't want to see certain people on their TV. In the 21st century, they are making laws against diversity, equity, inclusion because they don't want to see certain. What we doing? Like, what are we doing? Like, and they call it woke. They've actually taken a word which was meant for something positive for certain groups of people and made it into something negative, and they use it. And I'm supposed to play the game? I don't have to play the game. I can say, well, if I live in a culture now where you can very comfortably tell me that you don't want to see me on your television in lead roles, or you don't want to see women in lead roles, or you don't want to see members, you can very comfortably tell me, then I can very comfortably say, yo, this is a little too white for me. I don't have enough of my own representation. I don't relate. I don't identify. I can say that now. Right? Like and I don't mean it. Listen, I love the X-Men. I just went to see Superman. I'm a big fan. We're going to talk about it.
Let's actually talk about that now, because we're about an hour in. So was Superman woke? Yeah.
Hell yeah. Woke in the truest, purest sense of the word. In the truest, purest sense of the word.
What did you think of the movie?
I really enjoyed it. I thought DC hit it out of the park, especially, and I might be biased because it's a DC movie, and I'm not used to seeing such a good. I mean, I thought there were some things I was like, this is really hokey. This is da 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 da. But overall, I really enjoyed it.
That's your take. That's it. That's the take. That's the take.
Oh, I have some critiques. I'd certainly have some critiques, but for the most part, like most of the critiques that people have, I don't have.
What is the
Lois Lane really annoyed me, but
really why?
No, first of all, I thought the character, I thought everything, just her voice, just kind of, but that's so small. I wouldn't recast her. You know what I mean? Like this is such a small nitpick.
I didn't like Jimmy Olsen's face.
Right, like so, you know what I mean? Like right. I'm not tripping over the fact that he saved a squirrel. You know what I mean? Like that's, I think that
isn't that out of a comic?
Oh, I don't know.
I feel like I've seen a panel of Superman saving a squirrel before.
Okay, I'll tell you what. And this is the one hot take that people are probably going to feel some type of way about. Yo, man, that dog, I was done with the dog. Like, you have no, like, yo, this dog, people think you messed everything up. yo, you don't listen. I was not a fan of that. I know people are always the best part of the movie. Not to me.
It was the best part for me. Definitely.
Yeah, not to me.
Crypto.
I mean, I like what he did with Luther, but
I actually didn't. I hated what he did with Luther.
I love him throwing Luther around.
I got some takes.
I love the dog just throwing the crap out of Luther.
Oh, no. Yeah. I'm talking about what James Gunn did with Luther. And I'm going to actually, now I'm going to get some. Listen, I'm not a DC guy.
I'm going to let you get into it. Let me cap it.
Okay, go ahead.
I like that we got a villain that was not likable. I like that we got a villain that you are not supposed to like, and they stuck to that. Like, that to me matters. It's relevant. I think him shooting the guy in the head just really drove home that this is not someone you like. You're not supposed to like it. It was refreshing that we now have, like, we're going back to that where you actually get the villain. He's not cool. There's nothing redeemable about him. I don't like you. I enjoyed that. I didn't have a problem with Hawkgirl. I thought the major criticisms of Hawkgirl, I'm like, well, wait a minute. She's not a Thanagarian. This is the human Hawkgirl. So the screams, all of that are on point for Hawkgirl, right? This is what Hawkgirl is supposed to be. She's not supposed to be 10 feet tall. Her size, everything fit. I didn't really care for the costume, but you didn't see it enough for me to really complain. You know what I mean? I really enjoyed the movie. I gave it a 7.5, I think, out of 10.
Okay. All right. I mean, I'm just going to, I'll hold my rating to the end. I have a lot of thoughts about the Superman movie. I felt like I walked in with expectations that were, I'm not really excited about this, but I'm here. I got a job to do. So I'm going to try to enjoy this movie and then come up with some takes on it. And that's exactly what happened. I watched the movie. I walked out pleased. I felt like I was pleasantly surprised. I didn't expect it to be as good as it was, right? And by good, I mean it was very DC. It felt very DC. And I also feel like James Gunn does a better job in DC than he does with Marvel, right? I do feel like the movie had too many moments that made me feel like we're in a James Gunn movie. Like, because we were in a James Gunn movie, but it felt like I was just watching a Guardians with a different skin, right? Just Guardians with a different skin. Cast, but I mean the different skin. We're not in space. We're on Earth. The costumes are a little brighter. The characters are a little hokier. You know what I mean? Like those kind of things. It felt a little like that. And I could go without that. I don't want to know that James Gunn, comes off as a one-trick pony. You know what I mean? It felt like a James Gunn movie. The actor that played Superman was fine. I felt like he was doing his best Christopher Reeves impression. I loved Crypto. I feel like Crypto has probably raised the stock of that breed. What breed is that? I don't know what breed it is.
CGI.
Don't be that way. They use a real dog for some of the shots.
I think the breed is CGI.
So cynical. God. But no, I liked it. It had some hokey moments, and I agree. But it was not a disconjointed plot. I do think it was woke, but I wasn't bothered by it at all. You know, I mean, maybe if I was Jewish, I'd be bothered by it, or if I was Israeli, I'd be bothered by it. But nah, man. You know, I kind of felt like, hey, this is a perspective and a critique on specific world events right now, and you know, if you feel a kind of way about it, you might
Ukrainian.
Yeah, maybe. No, Russian. Bruh.
Russian.
Yeah, definitely not Ukrainian. But I don't think it had anything. I don't think it was so much a commentary on the Russia-Ukraine conflict. I think it was more so a commentary on the Palestine-Israel conflict.
Israel.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I obviously, and that's what everyone's mad about. Like, don't put that in my Superman, right? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, yo, like, I don't know if you know this
and
or not.
Especially because Superman was created by Jewish people. And
well, weren't they all
Jewish name?
Weren't they all like that was the whole thing, right?
We're not going to do that. Shout out to the Jewish people, by the way. Shout out to the Jewish.
No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like the comic books, like Stan Lee and Jack Kirby were both Jewish, right?
Stanley Lieberman,
right? Yeah,
I don't know about Kirby.
Yeah, yes, Jack Kirby is like I don't know his name. I can look it up right now, but he was absolutely Jewish. They were Jewish. I didn't know that Superman was created by Jewish people.
And Jewish, right? Kal-El.
Damn.
I mean, he's not actually Jewish, but his name.
But damn. Jewish. Oh, yeah. No. Because what is it? Steve Jurgens and
Dan Jurgens.
Dan Jurgens and someone else. Who was the other guy?
That's not who created him.
No?
No. Dan Jurgens is still alive.
Who created Superman?
I think his name is Schuster. I'll give you. I'll get the facts.
All right. Well, yeah, we'll come back to that. Anyway, I did like the movie. I gave the movie a 7.58.
That's where I'm at.
Yeah, I was at 7.58. You know, and I feel like I give it room because I as much as I'm not a DC fan, it's a DC movie. I'll tell you what, my biggest takeaway from the movie is that I can't wait to see the next one. I don't want to see the next DC movie.
Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster.
Okay. Jerry Siegel
and Schuster.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I guess Dan Jurgens, didn't he do Death of Superman? He was part of that. Okay, that's where I got that name from. Okay. I'm not going to tell you where I got that from because actually I am. So I used to watch the Home Shopping Network before the internet was a thing. And they used to have comic books that they'd sell on there. And they would be autographed by these guys. And I'd always beg my parents, like, yo, you got to get this for me. They're saying it's limited. They're saying there's only so many of them. And it'd be signed by Dan Jurgens and all this shit. So, you know, that's why that name stood out to me. So anyway, but my bad. For those who don't know, I don't own a comic shop, and I have not been collecting for as many years as Ish has been collecting. So I definitely defer to him when it comes to comic book and intelligence, comic book know-all. He's the subject matter expert, in my opinion.
The Shmee.
I consider myself pretty casual, but casuals don't consider me casual. So I take that for what you will.
We don't.
Yeah,
we don't.
But yeah, 7.5, 7.58. I thought it was a really good movie. I would go see it again. I saw it in IMAX. Did you see it in IMAX?
I did not.
Bro.
I've never seen a movie in IMAX.
My guy. Yo, James Gunn showed his ass on this camera work. It was like a whirlwind of cinematography. These orbitals, these close angle, wide angle shots. It was the close. They were close up wide angle shots. They were shot with wide lenses, and it contorts and distorts the perception of the shot. But gives just enough of the information of the background of what's happening. And when you spin, or if you if there's camera motion in it, it gives this really whippy feel. I just never seen it before, and they did such a good job of it. I think the closest I probably ever seen to like camera work that made me that impressed was Top Gun 2. Like they both made me feel like, oh, we in the air for real right now. Like the set pieces were awesome. The no complaints whatsoever about the VFX. Really good. Element Man, is that his name? Like that was it's great. You know what I mean? I thought that I heard
Metamorpho.
Who?
Metamorpho.
Is that what he said? Was that who it was? Because I don't think that's what he said his name was.
Metamorpho.
Oh, okay. Yeah, again, deferring to you. Yeah, it was a good movie though. But I will be doing a whole like YouTube video over the Superman movie. So please check that out on Revenge of the Nerd. That'll be up as soon as I shoot it and edit it. You'll see a notification. So hit that bell, like and subscribe. Yeah.
Speaking of which, hit the bell here on A Better Word Than Blerd.
100%.
Like, subscribe, follow us on all of the social medias.
All
Instagram,
of the socials.
Facebook, TikTok, like do all the things. Listen. Y'all need, what better word than Blerd are y'all going to get every week than Matt and myself, Issue X, kicking it here, talking about things like Superman and woke, right? Like, this is what we do. Every week we got something. We got some meat. We're going to talk about hip hop too.
We actually got to get into that. Yeah. And I said this before in the first episode, right? There's absolutely hip hop nerds out there. Fucking huge.
You're one of them.
Nerds. Oh,
I'm sitting here talking to one.
My God. So we're gonna talk a little bit about the old and a little bit about the new. Old news is that the Clipse dropped an album and the entire internet. First of all, legendary rollout from the Clipse. Okay, legendary. I haven't seen a rollout like this since like maybe the early 2000s, 90s, where it was that calculated and that attention grabbing. If you didn't know that a Clipse album was dropping, you were living under a rock, right? And maybe that was voluntary. Maybe it was intentional.
It's me. I'm the resident under rock.
It was a legendary rollout, right? And I don't want to talk about too much about that because there's plenty of people talking about that. What I do want to talk about is what people are not talking about. And that is, this album is not the 10 out of 10 album that people are making it out to be, right? I've listened to the album multiple times. I'm going to tell you, 10 for 10 rapping, like 10 for 10 bars, 10 for 10 lyrics, not 10 for 10 songwriting, not 10 for 10 production. This is not Pharrell at his best. This is Pharrell in his bag, but he's not Pharrelling like Pharrell has Pharrelled before, right? I've definitely heard bodies of work from Pharrell that slap way harder than this, right? I feel like what I should have gotten for people to be responding to this album that way. First of all, there is some slaps from Pharrell on this album, like absolute slaps. It's just not across the board, right? And when you say 10 for 10, you're implying that it's a perfect album. There are classic, hip-hop classic albums that are not 10 for 10s. You know what I mean? Like, so to say that this is a 10 for 10 album, I mean, it's just, there are songs on here that just did not connect. There are songs on here that don't connect. I think you guys are just easily impressed because you haven't heard good hip-hop in a long time. And that's fine. But let's just keep it a buck. It's probably like an 8 album, right? 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10, you know? But it's great to hear, you know, when's the last time we had a Clipse album? When's the last time we heard Pusha and Malice together? Definitely some great beats on there and great songs, just not across the board is all I'm saying. You know what I mean? Don't kill me in the comments. I'm not a hater, right? I rap myself.
Bring it.
You know what I mean?
Bring it.
As a person who grew up as a rapper, huh?
What is it out of 10? What do you give?
That's what I said, an 8.5, 8 or 8.5.
So I'm obviously along for the ride when we talk about the Clipse. Obviously, I haven't really messed with the Clipse since Grinding, and I'm gonna tell you, I've never heard a Clipse 10 album. So that's where I'm at with that.
I'm gonna tell you the closest is probably Lord Willin'. Lord Willin' is a classic, it's like one of them classics that's like the Dusty classic that people don't talk about, right? But I mean, like, to say that this album is a 10 for 10, no one's going to be listening to this album 10 years from now. They're going to be going back to the Clips. They're going to be going back to Lord Willing. They're going to listen to Grinding. You know what I mean? And they have strong albums, though, you know, and it's great to hear these bars from Malice again. There's some points where he upstages some great features on this album, you know, but I feel like it just wasn't that consistent. You know what I'm saying? The first half of the album was fire. Absolute fire. And then I think it kind of drops off on the second half of the album, right? Some of the songs feel kind of fillerish. Some of the songs, you know, it's just not my vibe, you know? It's just, in my opinion, I don't think it's the 10 for 10 it got. Obviously, you didn't hear it, so you wouldn't know.
Won't hear it.
That's fine. I'm going to tell you what you should hear. And what you should hear is the new that we're going to talk about. And I'm going to get excited about this because it is a 10 for 10 album. Oh my God. This new Tyler, the Creator album is so good. And I'm not a Tyler, the Creator fan. I feel like I'm listening to the Love Below and Speaker Box at the same time with Future Sex Love Sounds. It's just that good. And it's only 30 minutes long. Like, not even 30 minutes long. But it's perfect. I was bumping this, you know, first thing this morning. I got up, I had to go grab some stuff for the show, and as I'm driving around, I'm listening to this. I'm like, dude, I be hating on Tyler. Like, Tyler just don't be my vibe. You know what I mean? He be doing stuff and to be creative.
I enjoy his creativity. I thought Loader Squad was dope.
Very
Loader Squad.
Yeah. So the only albums that I've ever listened to, I think I tried to listen to Igor, but I think that the closest I got to finishing the album was probably Chromacopia. And I mean, like, I reluctantly gave Chromacopia like, all right, this is actually a pretty good album. It's just not my vibe. Like, for the people that love it, they love it, but it's just not my vibe. This album, he kind of brought me in. And I told my family, my daughter and my wife are huge Tyler, the Creator fans. They went to the Chromacopia tour, blah, 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 right? Got the hoodies and everything to show for it. You know, I was like, I'm good. I don't need to see Tyler. I'm probably a Tyler fan now.
You're gonna be bumping it.
As much as people are saying that this Clipse album is album of the year, which I think the album of the year goes to Sleep Token. Say what you will. I don't just listen to hip hop. Most people don't just listen to hip hop, but for the people that just listen to hip hop, maybe you should listen to Sleep Token because it is a great album. But I feel like this Tyler album is probably the hip hop album of the year for sure. I haven't heard anything this enjoyable to my ears in so long, right? You get what you get for the Clipse. Dope beats, dope bars, right? Yo, Tyler crafted a body of work. It's a body. I'm telling you, Speaker Box and Love Below together. Good time. Fucking great time.
I want to segue within this hip hop conversation.
Okay.
You're very enthusiastic about Tyler, and I messaged you enthusiastic. Like, did Nas cook Jim Jones?
Yo, so
did that happen? Did that happen?
So let's talk about that, right? Because I got real confused at the first point, right?
Speaking of Dusty, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of Dusty, like,
so you said it, and I ran to Spotify. I'm like, let me hear it, because I know that Nas is on the new Raekwon album. Shout out to Raekwon, solid album. Obviously it's not going to overshadow the classics from Raekwon, but solid album, solid showing, good features, cool beats. Just not that. You know what I mean? And I'm not going to bother grading it because it doesn't matter. Just enjoy the album. But Nas is on there. Nas is on the Clipse album too. But Nas is on Raekwon's album, and he's not dissing Jim Jones on this song. So when you hit me and you were like, hey, man, Nas just cooked Jim Jones. And I'm like, what? And I go back and I listen and I'm like, bro, what are you talking about? It ain't nowhere in there. So
I don't even know what he's talking about. He's like, I don't hear no Jim Jones. And I'm thinking
I said, bro,
did we listen to the same song?
I go to Genius and I'm looking for the bars on Genius. I'm like, yo, did I miss something? it's not on there. And nah, man, not a single Jim Jones bar is on that album. But there's an unreleased version of the song, and Nas is dragging Jim Jones. I mean, like, he put him over his knee. Put him over his knee and spanked him. I'm like, oh, I forgot Nas was like that. And it was like more of a warning shot from Nas. It wasn't even like, I'm cooking you, Nas. It was like, yo, don't.
It wasn't either.
Don't kid
it was
yourself.
like,
It was like, don't kid yourself. You know what I mean? Don't kid yourself. This could get ugly. You know what I mean? Stay in your place.
For those who don't know what we're talking about, Jim Jones is on this, I'm going to call it the Jim Jones, this disparity tour, right? Like he's just disparaging everyone in his pathway on his way to, I don't know if he wants to be Kanye with the clothing. I don't know what no knock on Jim. But he's going at the locks who cooked them, right? He said that, we purposely didn't show up with our best when we did the verses against the locks. Listen, man, I understand that you didn't show up with your best, but even if you showed up with your best, Jadakiss showed up with a halo and a heavenly, he got his mic from heaven on that particular, like, seriously.
Legendary performance.
His mic came down from heaven. One of the most legendary performances you will ever see.
Performance, period. Man. If you did not see the verses, the Dipset versus the Locks versus, bruh, absolutely legendary.
It's crazy. People in Kazakhstan were like, yo, Jada, if I kiss you now, you'll die later. Like, yo, they didn't even know what they were saying, but they were saying it. Like, yo, everybody who was anybody heard about it. Listen, so I don't know what Jim Jones is talking about. And then he happened to open up his mouth. Yo, shout out to the Dipset, man. Dope contributions to hip hop culture. Like, for real. Oh, boy, come on home with me. Where the buses don't work. All of that stuff influenced and impact me. Shout out to them. But you opened up your mouth and you said you have a greater legacy than my country, 'tis of thee. They want to get rid of me. These are the last words of a hanging slave. How can I forget this? Rob you, put you on my hit list. Under my nails is dirty. Look at the grime. I burnt lips from the roach clips. How can I? You don't have a better legacy than Hate Me Now. You do not have a better legacy than You Can Hate Me Now, but I can't stop now. Because I'm not saying the song. I'm saying the rapper. You see how I sounded that out? Rapper. Jim Jones, stop it, bruh. Stop it, bruh.
I think you can, there's not really a debate there. You can take Jim Jones's best performing songs and put them against Nas's best performing songs.
You can't put them against Nas.
I don't think that Jim Jones's catalog is deep enough to fuck with Nas. You know what I mean? And Nas just went on a fucking run with Hit Boy. With Hit Boy. 3 albums back to back. The Magic series.
He's doing a tour with an orchestra.
Yeah, for sure. You know what I mean? Listen.
He's done jazz.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, like, yo, Nas's first album was what, 92? 92?
Like, which Nas you think you better than? Nasir?
92?
Esco? Like,
but
Nostradamus?
He's still putting out great music now. Great music right now. That run he did with Hit Boy is legendary. People talk about the Magic series all the time. It's crazy.
For those of y'all watching who don't understand the era of hip hop that we talking about, right? And this is the reason why Jim Jones shouldn't even be speaking about having the same legacy as Nas. Where we come from, that song that Nas just dropped the other day where he cooked Jim Jones was supposed to be in the studio 24 hours. He's supposed to have been in the studio responding. Where we come from, you know what I'm talking about, Matt.
I feel like Jim Jones might be planning a rollout, right? I think that's what all the hoopla is about. It's got to be a rollout. You were supposed
to respond to Nas yesterday, 2 days ago, last week. You was already supposed to have your response.
He really need to not do that. Hip hop needs him to not do that. We don't need that right now. No. New York is in a good spot right now. You know what I mean? New York rappers, like East Coast, they doing it right now. So let's not
Well, you and I
disrupt
had
that
a
flow.
conversation yesterday, right? We said that there's certain rappers that if we were rapping, we would just kind of leave alone. Who were some of the rappers that we mentioned when we were saying this yesterday?
I mean, obviously, and ooh, if you say anything smart, I swear. But obviously, I would never say anything about Eminem. I'm good.
I agree.
I'm good. You can have it. Luda.
Nas.
Not saying anything about Luda. No. Nas was nasty. Nas. No. Not saying anything about Jay.
Just leave you alone.
Nah, I'm good. Not saying anything about 50. Right? You know. Listen.
I don't think lyrically, I don't.
I've rapped and I've sent shots at people.
Same here. You
know what I mean? I got a couple rappers on my list that I sent some shots at. You know what I mean? And it wasn't none of the ones I just named. Not one of them at all. I'm good. I'm good
on that.
I'm good. Speaking of sending shots,
LL is another one.
Yep, LL was another one. Yeah, you definitely said LL. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
But speaking of sending shots, there's another beef that recently has been going on. This time internationally, and I say this with such a heavy heart. I say this, a global beef, right, between the United States and the United Kingdom, right?
Did you see Patrice O'Neal's his reel?
No, I didn't.
They turned it into a song. He was clowning UK rap, and he's like, in a boom, in a boom, in a bop, up. No,
you gotta see me that.
Literally turned it into like a dope song too, man. It was really funny.
That's wild.
Yeah, he's clowning anyway.
So this all started when Drake was doing a stadium concert at Wireless in I think it's London, somewhere in the UK. And
props to Drake too, who has put on more artists worldwide than probably any other person in rap right now.
I won't say put on. I will say co-signed. I won't say put on.
Featured, showed up for.
Well,
you know what I mean?
I mean, there's another conversation to be had there because a lot of people think that that's a little opportunistic. You know, I've seen that from other artists. You know what I mean? Hop on what's hot. You know what I mean? But I mean, like, not for nothing. It's a two-way streak. They're using him. He's using them. Blah blah blah. Right? They might genuinely be cool too. You know what I mean? Like, who knows? That's probably why he took the beef so hard because pause. That's probably why he took that last battle so hard. I paused that. That was a good pause. But because so many people that he's collaborated with kind of turned and flipped on him out of nowhere, I think that's probably why he took it so personally. But he said on stage that the UK had some of the greatest lyricists ever. Not debatable, right? And everybody in the U.S. laughed.
It is debatable.
Everybody in the U.S. laughed, and then somebody said something. So apparently, Skepta, who is a UK artist, who he's one of the I guess people, because he's not one of the new school rappers. He's not Dave. He's not Central, right? Central C. He's not Dave. But he's like, I guess back in the day, like when hip hop was still grimy, like Grimes type shit. Yeah, he's one of those guys. He sent some shots out. Sent some shots at Academics, DJ Academics, and then he also sent some shots at Joyner Lucas and had like some bars for Joyner. To which I don't know if you're familiar with Joyner Lucas.
Yeah.
But Joyner Lucas said
is gonna cook him.
Said say less. Like, quote, say less. Got in the studio and absolutely cooked him. I mean, it was like, ooh. And it was like from Joyner, it's still light. It was still a light cooking. You know what I mean? Like Joyner is capable of so much more. And he just made such a spectacle of him for anything. So then Skepta comes back with round two, which is literally the name of the song. And it's the most pointless diss ever. Like, no.
Yeah, it was really bad.
No, don't round two. No, concede. That's what you should do. Concede.
Yeah, it was bad.
You made yourself look crazy responding to that. You should have just
problem, right?
Go ahead.
So I'm going to tell you. So first of all, when you take the most prolific currently, the most recognized and most prolific rapper coming out of UK, Central C, right? He's been rapping for years. It has taken him a long time to put out an album that is actually really dope, which was his last album, and it is really dope. But it's taken him a long time.
Well, I'm not letting you get. I'm not letting you get that off. Not letting you get that off.
Let me finish. Dope by UK standards, mega hit in the UK. He was able to go on a worldwide tour. He ain't coming to the US with that shit. But you understand what I'm saying? And when I say that shit, I want to be careful. I'm a fan of UK hip hop. You're not
finna take them flowers away from Central C, bro. Central C
take flowers away.
Central C got like 2 solid, like great albums in a can.
Yeah, but he's been already rapping forever.
This last album is probably his worst album.
But look how long it took for Central C.
I mean, Central C's first record was like what, 2010?
I've studied Central C. I've watched documentaries on Central C. I've watched him change his image.
Right.
I've watched him I'm trust me. I'm not not against UK hip hop.
A big Central C made me fall in love with UK hip hop again.
Hold on. I'm a fan of UK hip hop. I just recently watched a television show on Netflix, which I love, The Champions. Listen, I'm a fan of UK hip hop. What I'm not a fan of, and I'm going to keep it real, and it's because I'm from New York, 100 guns, 100 clip. I'm going to keep it real with you, right? I'm not a fan of this idea that this burgeoning and growing hip hop culture in the UK is at a point where they can say, well, lyrically, we can just compete with American hip hop. I'm not saying that you won't get to that place at some point. What I'm saying is, nah, man.
I definitely feel, even with the biggest artists from the UK, if you take the last biggest artists from the UK for the last 10 years, it's still very fledgling, the scene over there.
Yes.
It's not as established and well recognized. I mean, you're talking about the elite of the elite are from America. So obviously this is a dumb debate, right?
There's no magnum opuses.
But
no one is dropping a dark as hell is hot.
But
no one is.
What I will say is that I kind of get what Drake is trying to say. And there was probably
I think Drake was kissing ass.
No, I'm be real with you. There was probably a year and a half, like a solid 18 months, where there was a drought in the US and none of the music in the US that was coming out was any was good at all, hip hop wise. And the UK was putting out massive bangers, like dope shit. I was just like, it was almost like the UK was the new underground. Like, so the shit that was coming out, we were like getting it over here, and I was like foaming at the mouth, because it was that good, right? And that was when I first, like, my son put me on Central C, right? The way it's ought to be, right? Mm-hmm. And the first song I heard from him was Doja, but when I went back to Loading, the first album, what was it? West Side. Was that what it's called? First album was West Side?
I don't remember what it's called.
Something like that, West Side. And then my favorite album from Central C is 23, which is his second album, which has bangers on it too. I mean, I'm talking about, I listened to that album for a year straight, grinding, listening to some of them songs. Like, it motivated me and put wind in my sails. Central C obviously introduced me to Dave, right? So now I'm listening to Dave's music, and Dave got bangers. Like, and then there's other artists over there. I mean, it's just the scene over there, because the way they flow is so intricate and so interesting, and the way that we're flowing right now in America is so dumb and not interesting and not witty. It was like, yo, they're kind of doing us better than us for a stint, right? There was a moment. The UK had a moment. That moment's not right now, right? After Drake and Kendrick, like, not right now. Actually, Drake used the UK flow on Family Matters, right? Which is one of the things that I thought, I largely argued, and people are going to kill me in the comments for this, but I largely argued that Drake out-rapped Kendrick, right? Like, when it came to like lyrical miracle shit, right? Like, he was going in on Family Matters. And I mean, that cadence, that wordplay, it was like, whoa, I didn't even know Drake was capable of this, right? I only seen him like dabble in the UK flow, but it was like that because it switches and it you know, you skip bars and then you know what I mean? It's that. It's so rhythmic too, right? It's so interesting.
There's
how
definitely
they do it.
something that can be said about the cadence and that rhythmic.
Oh my God.
You know, that snap.
It's
that,
very,
you know,
very good, man. And how, you
especially
know,
when you have that
how they
UK
set their punch up.
reggae tone mix as well. Like this, it can be really special.
It's not really reggaeton. It's like
or reggae and
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
It's like a
It's
reggae
like
type.
a dance hall.
It can come off as really special and really dope.
Yeah, it's
and
really good, man.
I see where it can go.
Yeah.
100%. I see where it can go.
But as an industry,
I'm a fan.
As an industry, they ain't got it right now yet. You know what I mean? There's a long way to go.
3 people that really stand out in an industry,
and I don't think that they should push this narrative any farther, man. Like, because what I don't want to see is this become a thing where it's like, you know, Skepta is the sacrificial lamb, and then other people start jumping up and trying to take his back. You know what I mean?
Sacrificial lamb.
Right. And then now everyone else is starting to come up. Someone takes his back, and, you know, they go at Joyner, and then Joyner has someone else jump in. You know what I mean? And it becomes a thing.
All-Stars.
You know what I mean? Like, yo,
it's gonna really hurt you.
Right. And not for nothing, I think Joyner can take them all. Right? Pause.
If he decides to put together an all-star team, and I mean an all-star team of, there are guys sitting around that have retired. Dude, if Busta Rhymes decides, there are retirees. Redman.
Wayne.
I'm not even talking. Listen,
Wayne dropped an album that was kind of like, ugh. But Wayne will still cook anybody in the UK right now.
Them. Like, if they all just decided, we just gonna do
listen,
okay, that's what it is.
Shit is stagnant in the fucking in America right now. Shit is stagnant. Do not give these niggas a reason to start fucking like, let's do this. Let's do this.
Like, did you see what
don't
happened
give these niggas a reason, bro.
Like,
don't do it.
I would like the UK hip hop scene to continue to grow. It is a burgeoning scene. I enjoy it.
I spent 7 years over there.
Y'all not ready.
I love the UK. I have friends over in the UK. I don't want to see this happen. You know what I mean?
You're not ready to step up on a world stage and challenge American hip hop. You are going to handily lose. It will be spanked.
Oh my God.
Listen, you will be spanked. Like, handily. It ain't.
And here's the thing. If anything, use this as a moment to start making albums together. You know what I'm saying? Cooking more features, getting more opportunities to get more artists known so that they're more recognizable in the States and they have more success, right? This whole like back and forth thing, like America,
Jay-Z,
Jada Kiss, Styles, Beanie Siegel got his voice back from AI. What? Let's not do this.
What are we doing?
Let's not do this.
Beanie Siegel hits hard.
Bruh,
why are you jaw?
We ain't even talked about the Killers. We ain't talked about the Killers. Who in the UK is gonna say anything to J. Cole?
Listen.
Who in the UK is gonna say anything to Kendrick Lamar?
Kendrick gonna be like, they not like us part 2.
Who got bars for Wale? Who got bars for Big Sean? No. It's a whole freshman class, man. You don't know
your big crits and your listen, man. Even our lesser like, stop it.
Bruh.
What do we do? Stop it, man.
The man them don't want no static, man. Man them don't want no static, innit? You know, fam, what you doing, fam? You don't want to go there. You don't want to go there, innit? Man's them cook you proper like fam.
Like, stop. Listen, shout out to UK hip hop. Really, facts. Because I really enjoy
big facts. Shout out
enjoy UK hip-hop.
Shout out to the UK hip hop scene. Shout out to Top Boy. Have you seen Top Boy?
Love it.
Boy.
Saw both. Both the original Top Boy and the second entry.
So
the original 2014 and then the second entry.
Yeah. So Top Boy, they're supposed to be making a sequel to Top Girl.
Did you see Champion?
No, what is that?
It's a series that dropped on Netflix a year ago.
Is that the superhero
British thing? No, it's about a British rapper.
Nah, I haven't seen that.
Dope. It's dope.
Is it? Okay.
Guess who's back? Yo, he did it. Yo, listen.
Okay, I'm gonna check it out.
About this dude is a British writer. His sister used to write for him. Yo, it's
don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it. I'm gonna check it out.
Go watch it.
I'm gonna go watch
the music.
I promise
the
you.
music is fire.
Fire music. Okay.
Yo, the music is dope.
Okay.
It's
all right.
Dope.
I'm gonna check it out. Say less.
Really dope.
Say less. Say
really
less.
Dope.
Let's see.
I'm a fan of UK hip hop. Shout out to, I'm going to say it again. I can't say it enough. Shout out to UK hip hop. We not here to hate on you, right? We both of us support you. We want to see you continue to grow. But like, there's a phrase that, back in the day in the United States, arms too short to box with God. Right now, your arms are just a little too short to box. Grow some, continue to mature, and obviously do features with American artists. What y'all do in the UK and what y'all do in Europe is dope. But to come at American hip hop, or maybe we started it, but to come at American hip hop, like, do you understand what you're doing?
I have a question. Why? Why, of all the people you could have sent to be your representative, or just allow, maybe you didn't send them, but you allowed it. Why did you let Skepta, of all the people? That's like if we let KRS-One represent us, right? Today, right? It's a little dated. It's a little overcooked. Like, it's not that day. Hip hop has evolved past that. You've got absolute killers in the UK right now. Why y'all let Skepta do that? Somebody should shut that down. They shouldn't let that happen.
The problem is, and it's not the problem. This is interesting to note, right? So UK hip hop is first and foremost driven by UK drill rap, right?
Yeah.
So they're cloning, they're copying their American counterparts, which is what you're doing.
That's wrong.
Right? You're copying.
That's not true.
Say again.
That's not true. American drill and UK drill is not a copy.
Let me play the thought. Let me play out the thought here.
Okay.
Okay. So what I mean by they're copying is just the fact that it's called drill rap. It's not the same.
It was called drill first in the UK.
Hold on. No. It's called drill first in Chicago.
No. Yeah, but that's not the same drill that New York uses. So the drill, but Chicago drill
is they use in Atlanta.
Yeah. So, but my point is that the UK drill was influenced New York drill.
Chicago drill, I would say, influenced New York drill, but that's okay.
No, because you're talking about two different drills. Because there was
all of them are different.
Yeah, there was because the Chicago drill influenced like Hot Boy, like Bobby Shmurda drill, right? Mm-hmm. But the drill that's going on right now is not that drill. It's a different kind of drill.
That's not even my point.
Yeah,
but it's called drill.
But that drill, the Ice Spices and I forgot the other kid name, whatever I can't remember all their names. But that drill in New York right now is influenced from the UK.
Okay, that's fine. That's what I'm saying is. What I'm saying is, right? So drill rap in and of itself, and this is my point is, right? Drill rap in and of itself is predicated upon, I don't fucking like you. I have beef with you. I'm going to actually rap about the real beef I have with you in the streets, right? This is generally what populates drill rap. Like I'm smoking. I'm actually these little gangster rappers.
That was Chicago drill.
Hold on. Let me finish. I listen to UK drill. They are beefing with each other, which is the point that I'm getting at, which is why they are not going to be able to come together to go against American hip hop, because their best representatives don't like each other. They don't fuck with each other because they come from different sets and they are continuing or carrying on the torch of what drill rap is. It is different. It is a different style. It plays out differently, but it is predicated upon beef. Like, my crew did this. I don't like you. Fuck you. And I'm going to say your name. And so, because I pay attention to this, right? I listen to a lot of these documentaries about UK, about rap in general.
So you were superseding my knowledge, right? Because I don't know that UK drill is that deep, right? I don't know. I'm not that deep into it.
Yo, so what you have to do, so on YouTube, right? And there's a guy, and I don't know why I can't think of his name right now.
Is it What's the Dirt?
White guy.
Oh, okay.
No, British guy, white guy. He's very, very well known on YouTube because he puts together these very comprehensive documentaries on drill rap. really comprehensive. Some people have said he's responsible for American rappers going to jail because he put like the most comprehensive documentary on King Von ever. It's like 4 hours, and everything he got, he took offline. But it's very I can't think of his name right now. I listen to him all the time, like all the time. And he also breaks down UK drill rap.
Okay.
He did a 2-hour thing on Central C, and how Central C has beef with the next best drill rapper. Like they came up.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, and it's because, and he said Central C isn't really like a gangster. He just comes from a neighborhood.
Right.
And he embraces the neighborhood and embraces the set.
Right.
And the other rapper actually is a gangster like that, like really put in work. Like, and they have beef with each other. And he breaks down the history of beef in UK drill rap. Like they really the difference is in UK. So Chicago drill rappers have beef with other Chicago drill rappers, right? They don't necessarily, unless you're talking about King Von, have beef with, say, Atlanta drill rappers, right? King Von did because he went to Atlanta and then ended up having beef with, not Julio, what's his name? What's the kid's name? He ended up having beef with in Atlanta, whose friend got killed by the night King Von died. Right. And his friend ended up getting shot in California by supposedly Dirk's people, supposedly, you know what I mean? Which is why Dirk is in jail right now.
Right.
But yeah, but generally, New York drill rappers have beef with New York drill rappers, right? I got beef with you because you're over here and I'm rapping about what you did to me or what I did to you in
Chicago.
Blah, 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 blah. Right. In the UK, for instance, it's different. It's not like, because UK is a little island, right? It's not as big as the United States, and
it's not very regional either, right? The biggest region you have Wales, Scotland, Ireland, that kind of stuff, right? It's not right, but the larger part of England is pretty English. It's not like Oxford is beefing with Cambridge, you know what I'm saying? And the sounds are the same from out there,
right? So. That's why I said
I will say this though. There are two specific boroughs in London that have specific sounds and sets that come from them. And the Hackney and Brixton, right? And those two areas, I can absolutely see that there being territorial issues and, beefs between the two of them.
That's the point I was getting at.
Yeah.
Was that when I say copying, I don't mean style and flow. I mean what it's based on and what it's founded in, which is generally drill rap is founded in beef. It's predicated upon the fact that it's not just I'm gonna make a dope song that I can rock out to. Every song speaks about what I did to my enemy on some level. Like what I did to yo man, or like on some level. You know what I mean?
I personally, when the inception of drill rap started and became popular with like Chief Keef, to me, drill rap was a sound, right? And the subject matter was just byproduct of who was using it. Kind of like trap music, right?
Yep.
But eventually, that Young Chop, I think it was named Young Chop sound, they went away from that, and it's a different sound, right? That was not really something that you can identify beyond trap music, because it used the same instruments, the same cadences, the same, the same variations, triplet snares, triplet hats, 808 snares, those kind of things. New York drill came up with a sound like this, it's not really 4 on the floor, but it's like I don't know what to call it. It's drill, right? It's their drill. But I've never associated the subject matter of a sound to be the predicated, like the influential factor, right? I never seen it that way. So that you bring that up, that, the drill rap is largely based on this, to me, one of the biggest albums from Lil Durk was, the one he did, what was it like? I forgot the name of it. It was a couple years ago. I'm sure you know it. His biggest album.
Yeah, with the song with J. Cole.
I feel like that came after.
Okay.
I feel like that came after. It was a song where he was talking about Aha. That's that song.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that song? That album, the album that was on, I thought that was his biggest one. I think it Summer Walker on it or some shit like that. Or her, one of the two. Anyway, I felt like while there was songs that had like that gangster rap and, drill aspect to it, it wasn't largely that. It was just rap, the same kind of rap that everybody makes.
You talking about an artist at this point
is
right?
kind of mainstream and crossed over, right?
Artist in the country, he's mainstream, and he has to change. Just like Chief Keef left,
right.
Never go back to Chicago,
right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like So yeah, absolutely. But he got to where he was going. He got to where he got to in his own hood, on his own streets, in his own city.
I guess what I'm saying is that there was a point where drill rap had a sound. And then it didn't have a sound, and I guess its identity was its content, which is not something that I had ever associated with, right? And now, like New York drill is a sound, right? Because it doesn't follow that formula now, right? The new drill is different. It's like, you know what I mean? Like this, like, man, I wish I knew what that pattern is called. It's a certain rhythm or whatever, but and it's an offset flow. You know what I'm saying? Young niggas singing. You know what I'm saying? Like it's very much so like that, right? And it, that's the one thing I will say about fucking America. Yo, I'm so over so many artists sounding the same. That used to never really be a thing. It was largely
UK drill.
But Central C don't sound like Dave. And Skepta don't sound like neither of them.
Central C sound like everyone else when he started. He's evolved.
Okay, really sure. But my point is that this idea, but it's not as bad as it is in America. It's not. You know what I mean? Like when the triplet flow became popular, right? When the Migos made the triplet flow popular, everyone was using the triplet flow. When the hashtag flow was popular, like or the stop, pause, whatever you want to call it, like a bunch of people were using it. You know what I mean? And that used to be like a huge no-no, right? Like it was a big thing, like you was biting somebody else, and now people literally be stealing other people's flows and just rocking with them. Like Drake is known for it. You know what I mean? And I just feel like that's such a thing in American hip-hop that we just don't, like, yo, man, we're supposed to be bigger than that.
Hip-hop is lazy. That doesn't mean...
I feel like a lot of American hip-hop is rap. It's not hip-hop. I think a lot of people are rapping for the bag. I think a lot of people are rapping because they trying to get, internet fame, clout, whatever, but they not rapping like on some, like, I give a fuck about rap as a hip-hop element. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but it's so, and I'm speaking out of school because obviously I'm not doing it, but it appears to be very easy to do, right?
Well, yeah, it's very accessible now.
I follow YouTube culture, and all you have to do is kind of be known, be in a gang, or have a street story, be kind of known, jump online, film a couple videos, do a couple interviews, and next thing you know, you're in the studio rapping, and it's just rudimentary, very basic, like rap. Like it's really rudimentary and it's really basic. And I just wanted to jump back really quick when we were talking about UK rap and I was comparing drill rap. What I mean is symbolically, right? UK is following in the footsteps of its American predecessors in that they are now rapping about the content wise is what we rap about.
No, right? I get it.
That's what I mean. Like,
no, I get that. And that's just something that I was not privy to that. So I thank you for bringing that to my attention. I didn't realize that it went that deep. I am going to check out that documentary, and I'm going to check out that Netflix series because I'm a fan. I like UK rap. Like there was for a solid year, Central C was my favorite rapper for a solid year. Not now. I really don't like the last album. Like I felt like the album before that was better. Maybe because he was hungrier, but this album just feels a little more studio trash. You know what I mean? Like, yo, this some label shit. Like, do a feature with this guy. Do a feature with that guy. Let's get you with this producer. Let's get you with that one. Like, it didn't feel like he was really cooking. You know what I mean? So, still more beef to talk about. I don't have all the details on this one, but SZA and Nicki Minaj have been going at it. Like,
This legacy stuff.
Yo, here's the thing. I don't think Nicki Minaj, in her place in hip hop, I mean, who am I to say this, right? But I just kind of feel like it's beneath her to do these things, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and she's gunning for SZA, right? It's not like, I don't think SZA started this. You know what I mean? But like, for it to be a thing, and even if it was like, if I guess Nicki felt slighted or some shit from something SZA said, you know what I mean? Like, it's still very unbecoming of Nicki and her legacy to do these things. You know what I'm saying? And I kind of feel like that's why Lil' Kim will always be Lil' Kim, because she doesn't respond to the shit like Nicki do. You know what I'm saying? And so her legacy is still intact, despite Nicki Minaj's best attempts. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to say that Nicki don't have a legacy and that Nicki ain't right now. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. I don't know all the details. I know that she came for SZA's head, and SZA was like, "I'm not really having it." You know what I mean? And it's some internet
I'm just
bullshit.
Looking to see what Nicki actually said.
Yeah, some tweets out there. She said something about she talked about her body. She said something about her body. It's like she had an allergic reaction or something. She said SZA looked like she got stung by a bee. I don't know. I don't know what predicated it. Like, I don't know what started all of this, like what the catalyst was. But I do feel like, when I see Nicki go on these tirades,
There's a lot of body shaming and there's a lot of attacking of SZA's, how she looks.
Yeah, but why?
I don't know what.
You know what I mean? Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I don't give a fuck what the why is, to be honest with you. I just kind of feel like it's unbecoming of Nicki. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, you're more than this and bigger than this, and it's just kind of petty.
When she plays basketball to her freckles wipe off when she sweats.
Yeah, I saw that. You know what I mean?
Really dumb
basically
stuff.
calling in a question like she fake or something like that, or she's unauthentic or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. What are we talking about? Both y'all got body work done. You know what I mean? Like, how, I know you're not pretending like you more, you know what I'm saying? And Nicki got too many skeletons in her closet to be saying that. A lot of people are responding like, yo, you are married to a sex offender, a child sex offender. So you don't have no place to be speaking about this.
I personally don't want to go there. If this was something SZA started, which I can't imagine SZA started.
Yeah, me neither.
R&B singers don't start rap beef.
And,
you know what I mean?
It's not really in SZA's nature, right? I mean, it's not even her vibe to be like that.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Not intentionally.
The thing is, we're not going to put SZA, who certainly impacts plenty of women. Her music is really powerful and I think really important right now too.
She's one of the most important artists of this generation.
And we're not going to put her on the same level as Nicki, who was also one of the most important artists
of her generation.
Whether you like it or not, of her generation.
Yeah, she was of her generation.
Certainly one of the most important hip hop artists all time.
But we're not going to pretend like this is 50 Cent behavior. Right? This is what 50 does. The petty tear down of someone else, unprovoked.
50 generally does it with purpose, though, right? There's generally an end game.
No, 50 just be doing it because 50
but he got
petty.
an end game. He trying to destroy you. He trying to really like, his end game is I'm trying to really, it's always Art of War type 36 laws of power with 50.
Yeah.
Nicki is just being petty because maybe she wants to, she's not as relevant as she has been.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally the first thing you start to think, man. It's like, yo, man, maybe Nicki said this because she's trying to, be relevant, get some attention. You know what I mean? Like, who knows? But I just kind of feel like it's unbecoming one way or the other,
Yeah, I think relevancy is what you said that Drake probably did, and there's nothing wrong with it, right? Like, Nicki, if you want to stay relevant and you don't want to go gentle into that good night, so to speak, like, throw your weight behind some of these people. They might not necessarily need you, but you are Nicki. Like, you do have cachet. You do garner a measure of respect. There are very few people who just gonna be like, yo, get the hell out of my face. You're Nicki. You know what I mean? Throw your weight behind some people. Bring up a crew of women and R&B and in hip hop and put them under, the Knickerbockers or, whatever Nicki's her Barbies or whatever her, all her different, put them under that umbrella. You know what I'm saying? you know, and it sucks because we come from a culture, right? Hip hop, and especially hip hop culture, right? Where historically we have put the women in hip hop, we've pitted them against each other. We did not create a lane by which they can come together. You don't have these super groups, right?
And that's not true. That's not true. Remember Ladies Night?
Yeah.
With Angie Martinez? Yeah.
Who was
that was the beginning of those.
Break down who was on Ladies Night.
Left Eye, the Brat, Left Eye, the Brat, Missy, Angie Martinez. I don't know. There's a lot of people in the video.
Right. Same with Lady Gaga, right? So when you take that, right, you have these are R&B singers fusing with hip hop singers. It's easy for Missy to do a song with the Brat and with Left Eye, right? Left Eye isn't, not to take anything away from Left Eye. Left Eye was never a solo rapper. Right?
That's not true. Left Eye was signed with Death Row under the alias of Nina Simone.
Yeah, but she
came out with solo projects.
I've seen a documentary. What I mean is she was when I say solo, semantically, never something successful. No one ever recognizes or remembers Left Eye, you know, touring, and you know, no one remembers that.
She never got a chance to.
Yeah, they only associate Left Eye with TLC, right? So. And Nicki and the Brat was always that way. But for the most part, I watched MC Light talk about it. It was always very contentious for females in the rap space. It was always, I got to have my female over here, and you found them in order for them to stand out, with the exception of like a Mia X, you found them needing to take shots at each other that just weren't necessary. You know what I mean? In order for them to continue to stand out. And that's something about hip hop culture as well. Another negative for me, right, is like when you look at hip hop culture, for instance, right? And obviously I'm not going to naysay it. I'm a part of the culture. I'm a fan of the culture. I support the culture. I'm not going to naysay it, but it needs to be said, right? Hip hop is the only form of music where you are required to write your own music. And if you don't write your own music, nowadays there's a bit of, you know, there's a bit of a break on it. But for the most part, like no other form of music requires you to, if you want to be successful or be respected, no other form of music requires that you have to write your own lyrics except for hip hop. Which is very interesting as well. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, to that point though, also hip hop is the only form of music that has the volatility and conflict in it that we have, right? The aspect of beefing and the competitive nature of
Whitney
it.
Houston ain't beefing with Mariah Carey.
Nah, I mean like fucking Axl Rose ain't fucking beefing with Lenny Kravitz or some shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're the only. But it's and I think that because it was birthed from a very competitive.
But there's no such thing as battle R&B, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean like
battle rock.
It only came from battling in the early days of battling like another party DJ. You know what I mean? Like type bullshit. And I think that the nature of it being so competitive as it is, people look at it like it raises the stock in the sport, so to speak. And I don't know that I agree with that. I feel like collaboration breeds more creativity than conflict. And
well, conflict kills money ultimately, right? Like if you're gonna put out a dope,
that's not what they think. That's not what the industry thinks.
No. Hold on. Let me finish though, because I was gonna say, if you're gonna put out a dope album or a dope track like an Ether or a Not Like Us, right? There's a lot of money to be made. But on the same token, I was just listening to Cameron talk about how when him and Styles P got into it during Versus, their tour got canceled. Cities pulled out because they thought that it was going to be something
right
they didn't want to be a part of. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So they just, Chicago dropped out and Milwaukee dropped out. Those are the first two he mentioned, like just dropped out. And then the tour got canceled, which Cameron was, I just watched the documentary. Cameron was really upset about it because he was saying that he put the tour on hold to do the Verses.
Right.
And he didn't want to do the Verses. He had a lot more money riding on the tour.
Right. Exactly. It was a bigger check. No, I remember hearing about this.
Bigger check.
But I mean, like, and that's not even legitimate, like, beef. They was just putting on a show on stage, right? They was projecting that. It wasn't no real problems with Dipset or the Locks, right? It was a versus,
Right.
you know? But it's the stain that's in hip hop, right? And I think that we still embrace it, right? And the problem is that, you know, us as consumers, us as the fans, we eat it up. You know what I mean? Like, look at what we're talking about. This whole segment has been about hip hop beef, whether it's UK, US, Nicki, SZA. You know what I mean? Like Nas, Jim Jones. Like we're talking about the controversy and the conflict, and you know what I mean. But it needs to be said that the moment niggas figure out that we could just get some shit together, and we don't have to, you know, come in it's not a competition, that we could actually do more together than we can individually, then that's when we've figured it out and won, right? Because I think that the only thing that sets us back is this level of volatility that comes from competitive nature within our art forms.
I could talk for an hour on the root of that.
Sure.
But
of course we can. You know?
Another time.
Yeah. Speaking of time, we're about that mark, man. We're at 2 hours.
2 hour mark. Listen.
2 hours.
Listen. I love talking to you. I love kicking it with you. Love having these conversations, especially because we talk a lot offline, and I always find myself not able to talk to you the way that I want to because save it for the podcast. Save it. Listen, because Matt and I are always inclined to have these type of conversations. This is why we do this, because this is how we talk. We just be kicking it and we be talking, and sometimes it's a little more heated and it's really involved, and we be at a higher decibels, like much higher decibels. We be going in, you know what I mean? Like really, really go in. So we decided, we're going to bring this here because every week, and I'm gonna let Matt get ready to close it out because Matt is, Matt is that.
That is not what we discussed. We didn't discuss that.
Well, I'm gonna get ready to close it out. Okay. Matt, you got any final words before I get ready to close this thing out?
I mean, outside of the obvious, you know what I mean? Like, it's always a pleasure having an opportunity to kind of just chop it up with you. To be honest with you, I'm gonna be honest, be a little transparent here. You kind of surprised me with your hip hop. You know what I mean? I didn't think you had the chops you had. You seemed in some places you may have fucking sunned me on some hip hop shit. And I'm like,
not even close.
I was seeing this is what we was talking about earlier, right? I'm giving my man his flowers, like he was like holding his own. I'm like, oh man, he might be talking about some shit I don't know about, right? Now, as somebody who's worked in the industry and or aspired to work in the industry and worked with different industry individuals, like I thought I had some more shit figured out in him. And, the fact that you were able to have this conversation with me and, you wasn't the dumbass in the conversation. You know what I mean? It was actually really fun, man. We're going to talk more hip hop. I told you there's such thing as hip hop nerds. I told you.
So I'm not going to let Matt do that, right? I'm not going to let Matt do that. I absolutely am well-versed in hip hop, but I certainly defer to Matt's expertise as someone who has been an insider, who listens to and appreciates hip hop from a different perspective and with a different ear than I do. I learned more from you today than I think you learned from me. So I appreciate the flowers, but I'm giving you those flowers right back. I was made to stand corrected in several instances. Y'all see when y'all play it back. But this is what we do. Every week we are endeavoring. This is our continued endeavor every week to seek out new life, strange civilizations, and we're going to find a better word than BLERD. We just happen to be that better word. It's what it is.
For sure. Till next time.